Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into Rome, but maybe not the Rome you always picture.
Right, not just ancient ruins.
Exactly. We're looking at it as this dynamic canvas for artists across centuries. And thinking about this idea, how can art show time flowing at different speeds?
It's a fascinating concept.
So our mission here is to distill the key insights from this lecture. Rome, 3 speeds of time. It's all about historical print images, basically giving you a shortcut to understanding this interplay between art, history, and, well, Roman city life.
And the lecture itself, it uses this amazing collection of prints. When you gather so much visual stuff on one topic, like Rome, it's funny how it starts to structure itself.
How so?
Well, you begin to see meanings you didn't expect. It lets you perceive time flowing at, different rates, all within the same city view.
So rates.
Yeah, and that really transforms how you understand Rome.
Okay, this 3 speeds of time idea sounds like a really unique way to look at it. It makes sense, layers of history all in one place. Could you lay out those 3 speeds for us?
Sure, so think of it like this. Speed number 1, the slowest, that's the ancient monuments.
The big ones.
Exactly. The Pantheon, Colosseum, Trajan's Column, Arch of Septimius Severus, Constantine's Arch, the Septimius Pyramid, those guys. Over 300 years, yeah, they might crumble a bit, get restored, maybe one disappears. But mostly, they stay recognizably themselves. They're the anchors.
The constants. Got it. So the city's foundations, almost timeless.
Spot on. Then you have the second speed, the medium speed. That's the city around the monuments.
The buildings and streets.
Right. Buildings go up, they come down. One thing replaces another. It shows that constant urban churn, development, change.
Okay, slow monuments, medium city fabric. I'm guessing the fastest speed is us.
People. You got it. The third fastest speed is the population. People, horses, mules, donkeys, dogs, geese, even crows you see in these prints.
High crows too.
Oh, yeah. And their appearance, their clothes, the way they stand, their gestures, how they gather in the piazza, that changes really fast. Sometimes every 30 or 40 years you see a shift. And what's really amazing is this historical coincidence. The invention and, importantly, the spread of reproducible print graphic.
Woodcuts, engravings.
Etchings, exactly. It happened right alongside Rome's big new era centuries, the Papal, Renaissance, Baroque periods, basically the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s.
Perfect timing.
Absolutely perfect timing. And because of that, Rome became, and this is no exaggeration, the most depicted city on the planet during those 300 years. Just a massive number of these mass-produced images.
Incredible. Like the most photographed city before photography. Okay, this is fascinating. Let's really get into it with one example. The Pantheon seems perfect. How did its image change in print, especially those very first ones? You mentioned they weren't always accurate.
Yeah, the very first printed image we have of Rome that includes the Pantheon is a woodcut. It's from Schädel's Nuremberg Chronicle, 1493.
Early days.
Very early. It's a panoramic view looking from the northeast. And you can make out quite a lot, actually. The Aurelian Wall, Porta Flaminia, that's Piazza del Popolo, now the Tiber, Castel San Angelo, even the Vatican area, but this is way before St. Peter's Basilica.
So, recognizable landmark.
Definitely. Column of Marcus Aurelius, a bit of the Colosseum, ruins of Constantine's baths, some sculptures. It's quite detailed for 1493.
But you said inaccuracies. What gives away that the artist wasn't actually standing there?
Well, a big one is the Vatican obelisk. It's, a solid ancient obelisk.
Right.
But in the print, it looks like a bell tower, a campanile. It's even got windows drawn on it.
No way. Windows.
Windows. So that strongly suggests the artist working up in Nuremberg never saw it. He must have been working from someone else's drawing, maybe just a quick sketch.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the Pantheon itself?
Also full of weird things. The inscription on the front, the portico, it should say Marcus Agrippa.
The famous one?
Yeah. But the print says Maria Rotonda. That was its name after it became a church in the 7th century. Ah, okay.
And the columns on the portico count them. There are only 5 shown.
Instead of 8.
Right. Probably because 3 had collapsed back in the medieval period and hadn't been replaced yet. But the most striking thing, the oculus.
The giant hole in the roof, how could you misinterpret that?
Well, they did. It's shown as this tiny little opening, and it looks like it's covered by a lid or a button, like a pot cover.
Lid on the Pantheon, seriously.
Seriously. It really shows a Northern European perspective just struggling, They couldn't comprehend this massive open hole in a roof. It wasn't part of their building tradition at all.
Wow.
And this lid pops up again in other northern prints, like the Munzer Atlas about 60 years later. They were clearly using the same flawed drawing.
That tells you so much about how information, visual information, traveled back then, and how it could be shaped by assumptions.
Exactly. It wasn't about perfect accuracy yet. It was about interpreting something, maybe something hard to believe. But on the plus side, that same print does give us a rare glimpse of the Pantheon's original facade decoration. Oh.
Yeah, 3 tiers, marble on the bottom 10 meters, then the upper 2 tiers were plastered with these delicate pilasters. You don't see that anymore.
So even the wrong images hold valuable clues.
Okay.
So from this slightly confused start, where did depictions go? Did they try for more accuracy or...
Well, the next big shift, early 16th century, was actually towards idealization.
Idealization, making it look better than it was.
Kinda, yeah. Or maybe how they thought it should look. There was a book on Roman inscriptions, epigraphy, from 1521, and it showed ancient monuments as standalone subjects for the first time, really.
Yep.
And the goal was to present these reconstructed, idealized views, like architectural models almost, not showing the wear and tear, the dilapidated reality.
So for the Pantheon...
They show it with its full-step base, the crepidoma, even though back then that base was buried under like 3 or 4 meters of dirt and silt from Tiber floods.
Right, you wouldn't have seen it like that.
Not at all. And they drew walls between some of the columns. But importantly, the oculus now, it's clearly shown as an open hole, progress.
Finally.
And they use this clever drawing trick, a hybrid projection. The round part, the rotunda, is shown straight on, like a plan. But the front porch, the portico, is in perspective to give it depth.
So trying to communicate the structure better, even if it wasn't quite real, what came next in this sort of ideal Rome phase?
Mid-16th century, around 1553, you get this hugely popular series of prints. It was called the Speculum Romana Magnificentiae.
The Mirror of Roman Magnificence. Catchy.
Very. And here, the Pantheon is presented even more like an abstract, perfect model. Stark background, stripped clean of anything added after antiquity. No church bells, no Christian symbols, just the pure classical form.
Interesting.
And this series introduced something really groundbreaking, the quartered section.
Quartered section.
Imagine slicing the building like a cake. You take out 1/4 wedge, so you can see both the inside and the outside at the same time.
Like an architectural cutaway.
Exactly. It was revolutionary for showing complex buildings in print. You could suddenly understand the interior space. This was the first time we see a perspective view of the Pantheon's inside in an engraving, though an architect named Serlio had published a flat section drawing maybe 20 years before.
So you could see the famous coffers in the dome.
Beautifully shown.
Yeah.
The 5 rows of 28 coffers, the upper level with its pilasters, the whole dome structure. But funny enough, even in this super idealized abstract view,
Yes.
they added little weeds and plants like capers and figs growing out of the broken brickwork where they made the cut.
Yeah.
Adds this little touch of, well, ruined realism to the otherwise perfect model.
That's a strange mix. Okay, so we've seen the Pantheon imagined, then idealized. When do artists start putting it back into the messy reality of Rome, bringing in that medium and fast speed stuff?
That really kicks in with Dupeyroc, around 1575. His work is a big shift because he was actually there, drawing from direct observation.
So more realism.
Much more. He shows the building as it actually was, flaws and all, even if it wasn't flattering. Well, he accurately shows the collapsed part of the portico, the brick on the rotunda without its plaster, even the cross on top is shown kind of skewed, not perfectly upright.
Honesty in art.
And crucially, he shows the portico sunk deep into the ground. You see maybe only 4/5 or 3/4 of the columns, their bases, the steps, all buried just like they were.
Wow, that really grounds it.
You can even see where bits of the marble cladding are missing, cracks in the cornice. It shows he really looked closely.
That's a real commitment to observation.
Yeah.
Did he capture any, like, weird details, local stories?
Oh, absolutely. Look very closely at his print, up on the roof near the oculus. There are 2 tiny figures standing there, but they're drawn way too large for the scale.
Disproportionate. Why?
It ties into this amazing Roman legend from the 1530s, right after the horrible sack of Rome in 1527.
Okay.
The story goes, Emperor Charles V visited Rome and climbed up to the oculus. The caretaker's son went with him. The emperor apparently felt a bit dizzy looking down, but didn't show it.
I would too.
Right. Later, the son supposedly confessed to the Pope that for a split second he felt this urge to push the emperor in.
Oh my God.
And the Pope's reply, according to the legend, was pure Rome. My true Roman son, you don't talk about such things, you do them.
Wow. What a story.
Yeah.
And Duparac puts little figures up there referencing it.
Seems very likely, yeah. It's this blend of history, folklore, and that dark Roman humor captured in the print.
Incredible. And beyond the legend, did Duparac show the everyday life, the fast speed?
Yes, he was one of the first to really embed the Pantheon in daily life. His prints have people milling around, but not huge crowds. You see mules with plumes, someone beating a donkey,
Or donkey.
makeshift market stalls, and significantly, this is where we see the first appearance of all those Roman dogs that become almost obligatory in later views.
The famous Roman street dogs. So then, moving into the 1600s, who else tackles the Pantheon?
Around 1615, 1618, you get this really interesting engraver, Alei Vanoli. He was doing this late in his career, made 100 views of Rome.
What was his style like?
His trademark was this, well, almost ruthless accuracy in depicting the buildings, didactic even. He shows the Pantheon with a missing corner, a damaged pediment, and he includes that little awkward bell tower they added, the one the Romans called the donkey ear.
The donkey ear. Love that. But you said Vanoli had a unique approach to the people in his scenes.
Yes, and this is where it gets really strange and fascinating. While the buildings are shown with almost brutal realism for his time, around 1618,
The people.
the people, the staffage, often depict something completely different. Sometimes it's a Christian procession, okay? But sometimes it's a full-on gospel story. Like in another print, he shows Simon Magus and St. Peter flying over a Roman temple.
What? Seriously?
Seriously. And in his Pantheon print, the people are shown enacting the 7th century event when holy relics were moved into the Pantheon, turning it into the Church of Santa Maria ad Martyrs.
So the building is 1618, but the scene is the 600s.
Exactly. It's this incredible parallel flow of time. Slow speed monument shown realistically for 1618, fast speed people shown acting out a scene from 1,000 years earlier.
That's mind-bending. Why? Any theories?
Well, one intriguing idea is about his eyesight. He was older, maybe his vision wasn't great, leading to his particular cross-hatched etching style. But somehow, that style gives his work this weird sense of authenticity, a peculiar accuracy, despite the historical mashup.
Wow. Okay, so that's a very particular vision.
Yeah.
How did print techniques themselves evolve to capture Rome better, especially the atmosphere?
Well, by the mid-17th century, say the 1640s, we see changes to the Pantheon itself reflected in prints. Those donkey ears are gone, replaced by new bell towers designed by Bernini, actually.
Bernini.
The broken pediment is fixed. There's a new column capital with the Barberini family bees on it, Pope Urban VIII's family.
Right, the Barbarinis.
And technically, this is when Israel Silvestre comes along, French engraver, student of the famous Jacques Talot. Silvestre invented something called layered etching.
Layered etching. How does that work?
Basically, you use different strengths of acid or protect parts of the copper plate with varnish for different amounts of time. This lets you etch lines of varying thickness and depth.
Okay, and the effect?
The effect is huge. You get this incredibly strong dynamic range, much deeper darks, brighter lights, and it was brilliant for depicting aerial perspective.
That hazy look in the distance.
Exactly. That sense of depth you get from things getting softer, blurrier, lighter as they recede, especially in Rome's humid air. Silvestre could capture that atmosphere like never before.
So richer, more detailed scenes.
Much richer. Bustling piazzas, detailed market life, street scenes with a real sense of depth and air, really capturing all three speeds together in a much more sophisticated way.
Okay, so techniques are getting better. Realism is there, sometimes mixed with history or idealization. We're heading towards the grand finale, right? Piranesi. How does he fit in and, well, dominate?
Before Piranesi, in the late 17th century, you get this wonderful synthesis. Artists like Wouters and the big publishing houses like Lafreri and Rossi, they achieve this amazing blend of documentary precision and real artistic quality.
Best of both worlds.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You'll see engravings that cleverly combine, say, an accurate architectural plan or cross-section of the Pantheon on the same plate as a lively, detailed view of the piazza outside.
Oh, that's clever.
And the street scenes themselves are more sophisticated. The markets aren't just rough stalls. You see proper shops, well-dressed people browsing, a wider range of goods.
The city is looking more developed.
Definitely. And artists often use that trick, the entrance into the picture. You know, maybe some ruins or shadows in the foreground, or a couple of figures pointing, like gentlemen explaining the view to a young artist sketching. It draws your eye in.
There's the viewer into the scene.
Right.
And then comes Piranesi.
And then comes Piranesi. Giovanni Battista Piranesi. His Views of Rome, Veduti di Roma, is this monumental series of 135 plates he worked on throughout his life in the 18th century. It's really the peak.
What makes his work so powerful?
It's this combination of absolute scrupulous accuracy in the architectural details.
Okay, precision.
But combined with this phantasmagorical, often wildly exaggerated sense of scale.
Exaggerated. How?
Take the Piazza della Rotonda, the square in front of the Pantheon. In Piranesi's prints, it often looks maybe 4 times wider than it actually is.
Why do that?
To emphasize the sheer monumental grandeur of the building, to make it feel even more overwhelming, more epic, he's manipulating perspective for dramatic effect.
And the atmosphere. You mentioned Silvestri captured the Roman air.
Piranesi is the absolute master of light, shadow, and atmosphere in etching. Just using black lines on white paper, he conveys that humid Roman air, the sfumato, that blurring of distant forms with incredible skill. His prints feel heavy with atmosphere.
And the daily life.
It's all there. Intricate details of market stalls, food vendors, carriages, dogs, beggars, tourists. The whole chaotic scene. But sometimes he presents the Pantheon almost completely filling the frame, like an anatomical specimen for archaeology, stripped bare of any later additions, just the ancient structure itself.
Bit different fucker.
And then he takes us even further. In his other series, like the Roman Antiquities or the Campus Martius, this is maybe his most radical move.
Oh, so?
He basically, conceptually, undoes Rome. He depicts the ancient ruins as if a neutron bomb went off and vaporized everything built after antiquity.
Oh, just the old stones left.
Just the ancient stones. The Campus Martius becomes this vast, empty, sandy field dotted with isolated columns, fragments of temples, tombs, pure ruins.
And the people in those?
They become these tiny, almost ghost-like figures.
Yeah.
Often classical-looking, not contemporary. They're just there for scale, almost insignificant against the immensity of the past. It's like he wants to show not just buildings, but the very idea of Roman civilization, its material remains, untouched by later centuries.
Stripping it back to the absolute slowest speed of time and making it monumental.
Exactly. It's an incredibly powerful, almost terrifying vision of antiquity.
What a journey we've taken. From that first slightly off woodcut with the lid, through idealized models, into the bustling life captured by Duperic and Vanoli, the atmospheric views of Silvestre, and ending with Piranesi's dramatic, sometimes overwhelming vision. It's not just about how Rome looked, is it? It's about how people saw it and depicted it.
Precisely. This whole deep dive, it really shows how these prints weren't just passive documents. They actively shaped Rome's identity, how people understood it, even how they felt about it.
You see that constant dance between the enduring monuments, the slow speed, the changing city around them, the medium speed, and that fleeting human life, the fast speed.
And you see the artists grappling with it all, their interpretations, the technical hurdles they faced, the ingenious ways they found to show these different layers of time and reality.
It really makes you realize that how we see anything historical, not just a city, is never fixed. It's always this conversation, isn't it, between the thing itself and how we choose to represent it, how we frame it.
Absolutely. It's a layered process.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Think about an enduring place or even a historical moment in your own experience.
Yeah.
Could you look at it through different lenses, different speeds of time? What might you see differently?
That's a great question to ponder.
This has just been a glimpse, of course, into Rome's incredibly rich visual history. If the Pantheon's changes or Piranesi's dramatic views sparked your interest, definitely dig deeper. There's so much more out there.
Always more to discover.